Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Sue Henry, Chief of the Calgary Emergency Management Agency. I'm joined by General Manager of Infrastructure Services, Michael Thompson, and Mayor Jeremy Farkas today. We're here to provide an update on the water main break along 16th Avenue Northwest, including construction progress and the next steps. I'm pleased to share that as of Sunday evening, the boil water advisory that was in place in the communities of Parkdale, Montgomery, Point McKay, and West Hillhurst has been lifted. We want to thank the residents and the businesses that were affected by this boil water advisory. We appreciate the inconvenience and the challenge that this may have caused, especially at this time of year. The City of Calgary Water Services Lab, in collaboration with Alberta Health Services and Alberta Environment and Protected Areas, have tested and confirmed that the water in these communities meets or exceeds all water quality guidelines and standards. Water may now be used and is safely consumed as boiling is no longer required. Anyone in the affected area who has not used their household water system in the past 24 hours is advised to flush their system prior to initial use. To flush your system, turn the bathtub tap on cold water for 10 minutes. Then turn the bathtub off and turn on all remaining faucets for 5 minutes on cold. If you have continued to use your household water throughout the last week, you do not need to take this step. For those homes that need to flush, I know this is contradictory to our conservation message. This is an essential step for public safety, and once this flushing is complete, please return to your water conservation actions. We know that water is a precious resource. Calgary, for the past 3 days, our water use has been too high. Please help us by conserving water. Everyone has a role and everyone has a part to be a solution in this. Yesterday, our collective use pushed us to the unsustainable zone at 510 million liters. This affects the health of our entire distribution system, our plants and their ability to produce enough treated water, our underground storage, which needs to be refilled each night, and our ability to move water around the city to everyone who needs it. It is imperative that Calgarians continue to conserve water so demand does not outstrip supply. Help us save water by keeping showers to under 3 minutes, by flushing toilets only when needed, by only running full loads of laundry or full loads in your washing machine. Your savings will ensure there's enough water for critical activities like firefighting. A single fire can use 4.5 million liters of water and draw down a storage location by 25%. This is the same amount of water that 26,000 Calgarians would use in a day. Crews are working as fast as safely possible to restore the water system, and your support makes all the difference. As the City of Calgary, we are also doing our part to conserve water. We have not filled pools that are down for operational maintenance. We have directed office staff to work from home where possible, and we've closed our vehicle wash bays other than for safety needs. Additionally, we've also connected with our large industrial customers and other partners of the agency, and we've received commitments from them to decrease their water use. Some of our customers are decreasing as much as 50%. Some of the partners that we've connected with include the hotel associations, the building and owners managers associations, and all of the business impact areas to share conservation messaging. We also acknowledge that this morning's commute was not normal in the area that was around the repair. Tomorrow is anticipated to be an even larger increase in volume. 16th Avenue in general sees 40,000 to 50,000 vehicles a day. Last night, we were able to partially open 16th Avenue Northwest eastbound, east of Sarcee Trail, and access to eastbound 16th Avenue Northwest from Sarcee Trail along that ramp has also been reopened. Westbound lanes of 16th Avenue Northwest from 49th Street Northwest to Sarcee Trail remain closed as crews continue to work on the feeder main break. Motorists are asked to follow the postage signage, obey speed reductions, and expect ongoing construction activity in the area. We are monitoring the traffic patterns and adjusting any signals in the surrounding areas as appropriate. There will still be impacts to your commute, so please plan accordingly. I also want to make sure you are aware of another unrelated water infrastructure project that is happening this week. Over the past few months, we've been upgrading a different feeder main at Memorial Drive and 52nd Street Northeast. This week, we are getting ready to bring it back into service, which will help our efforts to move water through the city. In order to do this, crews will need to flush water through this pipe to make sure the water inside is clean and safe. This flushing will start tomorrow morning and continue for a few days. This means even though we are still asking everyone to save water, you may see crews releasing water from fire hydrants in this area. This is an extremely necessary step for health and safety. We know that today will be a big day with people returning to work and to school. Please be mindful of water consumption as you go about your day. If we all work together, small water savings can have an incredibly large impact on our overall system. I'd now like to turn the podium over to General Manager Michael Thompson.
Thank you, Chief Henry, and good afternoon. I'd like to start off today providing an update from the repair site. On Sunday, crews finished cutting the damaged section of pipe out of the feeder main. We then removed the damaged pipe and we're sending it to a facility for further investigation. Crews are now inspecting the pipe in the ground using both human and robotic inspection methods. Once the pipe inspection is complete, we will start installing the repair section of new pipe. If everything goes well, we are planning to have the repair complete and the pipe operational by early next week. More details will be shared as we confirm the exact timelines for the complete repair and return to service. As we know, in June of 2024, the feeder main break significantly impacted the ability to supply Calgary and surrounding communities with drinking water. After repairing the initial break, we also repaired 5 hotspots, which were identified based on wire break data we had received from an initial inspection. We returned the pipe to service and used a device called a pipe diver to gather more data and identify other segments of the pipe that were experiencing deterioration. With this data, we worked with industry experts to identify locations that would benefit from urgent planned repairs. 23 additional sections of pipe were selected based on this analysis, and we completed these repairs from September through November of 2024. You may remember during this time, we used a technique called concrete encasement to complete the majority of these repairs. As you can see from this photo, we reinforced the pipe in selected locations with a steel reinforced concrete box. These repairs were completed to support the stability of the pipe, then we returned it to service. Knowing the condition of the pipe and the need for it to operate while we worked on a permanent replacement pipe, we installed a fiber optic monitoring system to provide continuous real-time monitoring of wire breaks and their exact locations along the pipe. We always knew and communicated that the pipe was operating with wire breaks and we were monitoring it, prepared to make additional repairs if we started to see the condition of the pipe change. Over 2025, we heard 18 total wire breaks. This compares to July and August of 2024, where we heard over 20 wire breaks prior to the concrete encasement. For context, there are about 1 million wires wrapping along this feeder main. No wire breaks were detected in the 2 months prior to the December 30th break. As we experienced on December 30th, monitoring for wire breaks does not predict every failure for this pipe, and we need to change how we're monitoring and operating this pipe going forward. We are actively working on determining why the pipe broke. As I shared on January 30th, I'd like to show you a picture of the 2024 pipe break and the most recent break side by side. Yesterday, our crews removed the broken section of pipe from site, and as I mentioned, our teams will be conducting an investigation of the pipe so that we can learn more about why it failed. To understand the situation we are in and why it is so critical, you need to first understand how Calgary gets its water supply. Calgary is a big city on two small rivers. We draw water from both rivers. Water from the Bow River is treated at the Bearspaw Water Treatment Plant. Water from the Elbow River flows into the Glenmore Reservoir and is treated at the smaller Glenmore Water Treatment Plant. In normal winter times, the majority of our water comes from the bigger Bearspaw Water Treatment Plant. But right now, because we can't use the Bearspaw South Feeder Main to carry water from the Bearspaw plant to your taps, we are relying heavily on the Glenmore plant, which is providing approximately 3 times its winter production for our water supply. This puts us at risk for a few reasons. First, the Glenmore plant is small, and we're currently running it full tilt to keep up with our demand. We're working very hard to keep it running at this capacity, but if there are any mechanical or other issues, it will have a serious impact on water supply. Second, we need to keep enough water in the Glenmore Reservoir to get us through the winter. The Elbow River is small, and right now the water flows from the mountains are very low. Think of the Glenmore Reservoir like a battery for our water. In the spring and summer, when the river is flowing, we can fill up the battery life, but then we rely on the battery to get us through the winter when the river flow is low. Right now, we need what is in the battery to get us through the winter until the spring snow melt starts to fill it back up. Continuing to rely so heavily on the Glenmore plant and the Glenmore Reservoir at this time of year puts our water supply at risk. We need to continue to use the Bearspaw South Feeder Main to move water from the Bearspaw plant until the replacement pipe project is complete. There is no current alternative to move the volume of water which this pipe moves from the Bearspaw plant. Knowing this, we need to proceed with increased caution as we use this pipe. We had previously identified a number of locations that we were monitoring along the pipe, and we need to move forward with urgent reinforcement work to support the stability of the pipe. This work will likely include reinforcing segments of the pipe using the concrete encasement method we used in 2024. These reinforcements will take place as soon as possible, but no later than this spring. We will complete the current repair and bring the pipe back into service as quickly and safely as possible. Once back in service, we cannot guarantee that the pipe will not experience another break. As we experienced on December 30th, the pipe failed without any indication on our monitoring system. If the pipe fails again before the spring reinforcement work, we will be ready to repair the break and quickly action as many reinforcement sections as we can. Our teams are still evaluating which pipe segments to prioritize for reinforcement, and we will be using the data and information that we are collecting from this break to inform this new plan. Going forward, we will need to shut this pipe down in the spring and the fall to conduct additional inspections and repairs until the replacement pipe is completed. I understand this news regarding the stability of the pipe is not what anyone wants to hear. We do not have all the answers at this time, but I wanted to deliver this information to you as soon as possible. We will continue to monitor the pipe and explore other options for enhanced monitoring and emergency mitigation as we prepare to bring the pipe back into service. While planning for urgent reinforcement work, we will be looking for every possible opportunity to advance the Bearspaw South Feeder Main replacement project to get us out of this vulnerable situation. As I mentioned last week, this new 6-kilometer steel pipe will replace the current line that is deteriorating and failing. We had already accelerated the replacement project, completing the design in 8 months instead of 2 years. We now need to bring an increased urgency to this replacement project. We are also exploring every option for advancing other feeder main projects and water system projects to support the resilience and redundancy of the system. As we navigate the difficult road ahead, we acknowledge we need to change how we look at our whole water system. The difficult reality is that Calgary is a big city on 2 small rivers. For too long, we've accepted a lack of redundancy in our system, and we need to change that and adapt quickly. The road to enhancing water system resilience will be challenging, and we need to be in this together. Just like you depend on water, right now the water system depends on you. We need your support to decrease demand to help our vulnerable system. Your actions to help conserve water are integral to life safety. Thank you, and I'll now turn it over to Mayor Farkas.
Thank you, GM Thompson. And before I jump into my remarks, I just want to acknowledge the vast majority of our City Council is present here with us at the EOC, and those who are working remote have stayed deeply engaged on this file with city administration and emergency management folks. Also want to just acknowledge the frustration that Calgarians have experienced over the past week. This has been a very difficult and challenging time. I know how frustrating it has been to experience the loss of services, but also the lack of finite or specific details. So thank you so much for the patience and goodwill that Calgarians have extended our first responders, our emergency management team, as we've worked as quickly as possible to get timely information out to you. Also want to acknowledge the immediate first responders in the front line who are working right now as we speak in extremely cold conditions, many of them in confined spaces, working around the clock 24/7 to get this needed work done. Also, want to acknowledge the City of Calgary Communications Department, which has been really instrumental in briefing members of council, my office as well, providing timely updates, producing firsthand videos, photos nearly in real time, publishing those videos and allowing us as members of council to stay engaged on social media to make sure that we're continue to be present and answering questions and providing information as we have it. Calgarians, yesterday we lived in a world where water was something that we could take for granted. Yesterday, water was something that most of us didn't even think about. We turned on the tap, we ran the dishwasher, we took a shower, and we moved on with our day. Today, that has changed. Today, we are living in a new reality. As mayor, public safety is my responsibility, and I owe you Calgarians absolute honesty about what is happening and why. Water is essential. It keeps our families safe. It supports our hospitals, businesses, and emergency services. But when our water system is at risk, everything is at risk. What we are facing today is not routine. This is a real threat to the most basic service a city provides. And it requires all of us to understand what is happening and all of us to act together. The Bearspaw feeder main has delivered water to Calgary for decades. It has served us well, but something has changed. The pipe is failing because it is breaking down from the inside. That damage cannot be fixed. It will never be fixed. This pipe cannot be made safe with patches. It has reached the end of its life. And until it is fully replaced, it can fail again without warning. You've heard me say previously that this is a ticking time bomb underneath our streets. And we need to be honest about what that means. This is a pipe that needs constant care. It needs close management, and it means that we must use water carefully. As we manage the immediate short-term emergency, we're advancing what may be the most ambitious construction project in our city's entire history. We're replacing the pipe that carries the heart of Calgary's water system, the beating heart that is sick and is terminally ill. In simple terms, we're transplanting Calgary's beating heart. We're replacing the engine of the aircraft while in mid-flight. But until that work is done, we need to change how we think about water. Not for a few days, not only during emergencies. For a while, this is how life will be. We are now living in a new reality of water conservation, a new reality where using less water is part of everyday life, a new reality of truly valuing this life-enabling resource, a new reality that lasts until our system is secure and until our neighbors are safe. I know that this will take effort. It means changing daily habits. But these changes matter. And when we all do our part, it adds up. Our new reality is to conserve water to keep people safe, to keep our system stable, to let our firefighters do their job, to give our crews the time they need to do this work right, to buy time to do the most difficult thing we'll ever done as a city, to transplant Calgary's beating heart and be ready for the next 100 years. So the water that you use at home is the same water firefighters rely on when an emergency happens in our neighborhoods. When demand spikes, it pulls water from the system that they depend on. And until this work is done, conservation is how we protect our city. It is how we buy time. It is how we help one another. So shorter showers, waiting to do laundry, using water only when needed. These are small things on their own, but across nearly 2 million people, these decisions save lives. These choices are how we protect our neighbors, our firefighters, and our city. Calgary has been through hard moments before, and we got through them before by showing patience, care, and grit. Crews are working day and night, engineers are moving plans forward, and tomorrow the independent panel delivers its report to City Council. Experts examined what failed, why it failed, and what must change. We will release the report publicly. We will act on its recommendations immediately, and where changes are required, we will make them. Calgarians will get clear answers and real action. Council and administration are focused on one goal: replace this pipe as fast and as safely as possible. So Calgarians, yesterday we lived in a world where water was something we could take for granted. But today we are living in a new reality. We're moving as fast as humanly possible to get this pipe back online and to restore normal life in our city. But I want to be completely upfront with Calgarians. Things will not truly be back to normal until the new pipe is built and fully operational. But if we stay focused and look out for one another, we will get through this together. This work matters, and together we will get it done. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Media members, one question, one follow. Hannah with City News.
Mayor Farkas, what is your message to people who aren't conserving water? They outright deny that we are not going to conserve water. I was on the streets today and I spoke to a lot of people, and some of them had those opinions. So what is your message to them?
We've seen Calgarians step up in a big way in our prior water main crisis. We're seeing Calgarians taking steps. We need to continue to do what we can as individuals, but also as businesses, to continue to provide the resources so that our first responders can do their needed work. We need to continue to drive shorter showers. We need to continue to use only water that's necessary. We need to run full loads only necessary, flushing only when necessary. And these are the ways that we are going to provide our first responders, particularly our fire departments, the needed resources so that they can continue to do their job.
The follow-up would be for everyone. What is the best way to communicate the gravity of the situation to Calgarians?
For a long time, Calgary's been an incredible community, and it's been a community that pulls together when we need them to. And this is a time that we need them to do that. We need them to be part of the solution and to help us do that. Thank you to the media for being here to help us get that message out. But the more messages that we can have in grassroots community organizations, within all of our business community, within all of our visitors that are to Calgary, the more people that can help us share the message, the more chance we have of people participating and being part of the solution.
Tyson Fedor.
To the mayor. Mayor Farkas, I know you've been in this job for 3 months, and I don't imagine this is how you expected this to start. But Calgarians, more than frustrated, they want to see accountability. He's not even saying it's from you, but administration, infrastructure department. Can you tell Calgarians whether or not there will be changes within those departments that potentially some departments have failed the city for the last several years, several decades, for not seeing this?
Well, the situation is deeply frustrating, and this is a council that acknowledges responsibility. The buck stops with me as mayor and with us as a city council, and none of us support just passing this issue on to future generations. We will solve this once and for all in this council term. We will replace the sick, terminally ill, beating heart of Calgary's water system with a brand new pipe that will solve this once and for all for the next century for Calgary. We will also action the recommendations of the independent report. We understand that the panel review is just completing its work. This report will be available to council by the end of tomorrow night. We will work to release that publicly as quickly as possible. We will implement the recommendations, and every step of the way we will be transparent with Calgarians, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and every step of the way we'll be as honest with Calgarians as possible when it comes to the challenges that we're facing.
And to follow up, Mayor Parker can take this, or Jim Thompson can take this. In regards to this new steel pipe, 6 kilometers, is that enough? Like, should we not be looking at more pipe being replaced in this city, especially if most of that pipe's been installed over 50 years ago? Why are we just focusing on 6 kilometers and not potentially looking at a bigger chunk of pipe being replaced in the city?
Thank you for the question. The question was really around, are we just looking at 6 kilometers of new pipe, and why aren't we looking at more? And so with respect to the Bears Paw South feeder main, the new 6 kilometer section of steel pipe will replace the PCCP pipe that is causing us issues right now. We are looking at investigating the entire system. As you've heard, we're looking throughout the entire system. We're advancing other projects, not just this project. We've got the North Calgary Servicing Project that I had mentioned last time, 22 kilometers of new pipe under construction right now. The South Calgary Servicing Project in planning, and we'll move that into design and construction as quickly as possible, as well as other upgrades across the entire network. City Council and the Mayor have approved over $1.1 billion of investment into infrastructure for the utility for 2026. It's more than triple the amount of money that was being spent just a few years ago. We have the money, and we are focused on delivering these projects right now for Calgarians.
Rick Bell with Post Media. Hello, question for Mayor Parker. You mentioned that the panel is just completing their work and that by tomorrow night, you'll get council will get a copy of it. When will either you or they actually release it? You did say as quickly as possible, but everybody has a different definition of what quickly means. So given the public interest in this particular report, what does as quickly as possible mean to you?
As soon as possible. On January 13th is when this panel will be visiting Calgary City Council formally, presenting their findings in open session. Council will have the opportunity at that point to grill the panel chair, ask questions of the panel as well as city administration. So by January 13th at the absolute latest. And my understanding is that the report has not yet been completed. It'll be completed by the end of day tomorrow, and then it'll be added shortly thereafter to the executive committee agenda.
I guess my supplementary, which is different than what I was planning to ask, is, but based on your answer, is there are people already on the record, members of council, who would like as quickly as possible to mean really, really quickly as possible, meaning shortly after council receives the report. So why wait till January 13th?
We are working collectively to get this out to the public as soon as humanly possible. We need to be as forthcoming with Calgarians as possible, the good, the bad, the ugly. We need to be as transparent as possible with Calgarians about not just what's happening with the pipe, but also the governance of the City of Calgary. We need to be able to show Calgarians that we've done the work, and especially as we're asking Calgarians to continue to step up, to be able to save water, to work together as Team Calgary, to be able to address the immediate emergency. This report and it being published in full to the public is absolutely essential to building the public trust and the buy-in that we work together to be able to implement these measures and to be able to respond to the new reality that we're living in. So it is so fundamental for us to release this report because it relates to the trust that Calgarians have in the process. Calgarians are being asked to make changes to their daily routines. And if there is an end in sight and if there is a fix in sight, I know that Calgarians are willing to step up to be able to support us in that work, but we have to show our work as well.
Adam McVicker with Global.
On the report, the chair of that questions about the release of this report. Some on council question the independence of this panel. How confident are you in the independence of this panel unfettered from council as well as city administration?
Yeah, this panel and the chair are completely independent of members of council. The panel chair contacted members of council to make it very clear that the request for more time to complete the report was coming from the panel itself and not from city administration. This was really essential to be able to build trust in the overall process. There was a very incomplete draft that had been provided to city administration in weeks previous, but the contact from the panel chair to members of council was really important to emphasize that any request for time was coming from the panel itself. And I think it's very important to emphasize that this panel report was first set to come to council probably in February. So they're fast tracking, they're accelerating the work, and some of the characterizations that this work has been delayed, it was been completely inaccurate. This work is actually being expedited to be brought to council in a complete format, and I have incredible respect and confidence in not just the panel chair, but also the distinguished Calgarians from incredible success in private industry who have stepped up in a big way to provide their unvarnished, independent opinion. The good, the bad, and the ugly, we will act on all of those recommendations so that Calgarians can have confidence in their water system again.
And as a follow-up, for administration, I know that they received a report for technical review action. What is city administration reviewing the report? And there's been some assertions that there's edits being made. Are there edits being made? What is administration?
Happy to share. Right now, our focus is on the replacement of this project. With respect to the independent panel report, they asked us with respect to some facts. We're provided those back. We are not editing the report. It is not our report. It is an independent panel report.
CBC, Canadian Press next, and then we'll have room for one more afterwards, CBC again.
Mayor, you say that this is the new reality. When the feeder main is back up and running, will restrictions continue to be in effect?
Could you rephrase the question?
I'm just wondering, so there's stage 4 restrictions in effect right now. You say Calgarians will need to continue conserving water after the pipe is fixed. Will there be restrictions in effect once the pipe is fixed?
So we need to be crystal clear that we are living in a new reality today. This beating heart of Calgary's water system is sick, it's dying, it is terminally ill. No amount of patchwork will fix the Bears Paw feeder main to be able to bring it back into reliable service. It could break again tomorrow. It could break again next week. It could break again next month. So that means that we need to change our tolerance for risk as an organization. We need to be as proactive as possible for preventative maintenance. This will require shutdowns in the spring and the fall when Calgary's water intake from the rivers are more reliable. There will be times through the next 2 years where we will be asking Calgarians to help us to be able to support this work, to be able to support the crews as they do the preventative maintenance, but also to support our fire department and our first responders. So until this beating heart is transplanted, until we have built the accelerated replacement line, our new reality will be potentially waking up tomorrow to this pipe again breaking. We cannot fix this permanently, which is why we are accelerating as fast as humanly possible, faster than anything we've ever done, building it right the first time, the replacement for the beating heart of Calgary's water supply that will last us for the next century. So again, this is the new reality the Calgarians are living in the fall and in the winter, and maybe next week, maybe next month, maybe next year, this pipe will continue to be brought out of service. It could be proactively through preventative maintenance. It could be sudden crises, but it is my responsibility as mayor to provide Calgarians that unvarnished truth. We are in a new reality. This pipe is dying. It is sick. It is terminally ill. And until we build the new replacement line, this is the new reality that we're living in.
And are you saying that restrictions will only be in place when the pipe is out of order?
So the question about what will restrictions like going forward in our new reality, we don't have all of those answers for you right now. likely when we put the pipe back into service, we'll be able to remove the extra restrictions we're asking you for right now, those extra conservation measures about reducing your flushes, shorter showers, less dishwashing and laundry. That would be right now. When we have to take this pipe back out of service to do those additional urgent repairs, those measures are going to come back and we're going to ask you to do that. And as we go through this summer, where our water usage is the highest, we're going to have some sort of restrictions in place. We don't know what those look like yet. We're working through that, but that will be part of the new reality that the mayor is talking about.
Over to Canadian Press next.
Just as far as, how long, we're saying that we're going over the usage each day. Do we have a timeline on how long that before we get to a critical point? And what kind of happens when we reach that? Is there a point where at some point I go to turn the tap on and there's just nothing coming out? Is that the reality?
So we don't have a timeline that we can share. It really is about those conservation methods. And we saw last week, we were able to stay within that target zone that we had. We hit it once everyone started working together. And so we just need to ask Calgarians that you work on those conservation methods right now. Reduce the length of your shower, reduce those flushes, and only have your laundry and your washing full loads as we go forward. Little conservation measures from each of us add up to huge volumes of water when you multiply it across the entire city. Once we have this pipe back up and operating, we can lift those. But again, we have no guarantee that this pipe will not break again. And so we all have to be ready for that reality as we go forward. We're living in a new reality until this new pipe is installed.
Hello?
Yeah, so just kind of going back to what my colleague was asking earlier as far as the reality that we're going to see. So is there a chance then that for the future, before the pipe, the new pipe is starting to be built with some of those restrictions, is there a chance that we go back to the restrictions near permanently as far as shorter showers, no flushing or low flushing, things like that?
We can't tell you what the durations will be. We can tell you that when this pipe is out of service, these are the conservation methods we need to have in place. So that's why it's critical that we get this pipe back up in service, but we know we have to run it differently. We'll have to run it at lower pressures, less water flowing through it, and so we're determining all of that right now. That's why it's critical that we all save water as we get through this initial repair. We'll develop that plan and we'll be back to talk to you about that in the future.
CBC Radio Canada, and then one last one from Scott Strasser of the Herald, and then we're done.
Sure. To be more specific, can you tell us, is there a specific percentage for the reservoir before, we move from voluntary, conservation to mandatory shelves?
We cannot tell you that, what that would look like. The question was, is there a specific threshold that we're looking at right now? It's a complex thing with respect to the water flows into the reservoir as snow melts and as we have flow from the Elbow River, as well as what that storage in the reservoir is and the consumption across the city. So the part that Calgarians can do is to conserve water. That's why we're really asking all Calgarians to do those three simple things: shorter showers, less flushes, and full loads of laundry and dishes.
Maybe for the mayor, what does that really mean? That new reality, what does that mean for businesses? And how is the city going to step up and make it help?
So this new reality means a Team Calgary approach. As we're all collectively taking up those calls to action, it means citywide reduction in water use. It means allowing those reservoirs and reserves the opportunity to be able to recover so that we can protect our first responders and repair crews. So we are working on the short, medium, and long-term actions that are required. There is an end in sight. We're accelerating the replacement pipe. But as we are doing the needed work, changing the operations of the existing sick and failing pipe, we are living in a new reality of water usage. We need to respect this as the life-enabling resource that it is. We have to value water today in a much deeper way than we did yesterday.
And final question goes to Scott Strasser of Post Media.
My question is if there's been any enforcement of the state court restrictions thus far, and if it's been enforced because this, I know that you did get that.
At this time, there has not been any complaints received or tickets issued. We continue to take an education-first approach, and we're hopeful that through that education, Calgarians will help us to conserve water.
Follow-up, Scott, follow-up?
Follow-up is unrelated, probably for, Michael Thompson, but regarding, a replacement pipe, is there any concern about rushing the procurement process or bid selection process, considering this project is being expedited?
So the question was about the replacement project and where we were at. We had already accelerated the design. We're out to market to hire a contractor right now. We will do everything we can to accelerate the timeline faster than we had before. We were planning to have this new pipe done in 2028. We are going to go faster, and we don't know what that looks like yet. We have teams working on it. We are going to get this new pipe installed as fast as we can so that the city is not vulnerable going forward.
Thank you, folks, and thank you for the important role you